Good.
Hi guys, Miss Dana here. Happy Memorial Day. Today is Monday, May 25th, and Grumpy Cat says grumpiness is a state of mind. Good job, Grumpy Cat. So, I hope everyone is outside enjoying this weather. Our story for today is Memorial Day. What is Memorial Day? Memorial Day is when Americans remember the men and women in the United States military who died for their country. This holiday is observed in almost every state on the last Monday in May. People also recognize Memorial Day as the beginning of summer. They celebrate with campouts, barbecues, and their other outdoor activities. Memorial Day is celebrated every place in the world where Americans have died fighting wars. How Memorial Day began. The first official Memorial Day was held on May 30th, 1868. Flowers were put on the graves of Civil War soldiers at Arlington National Cemetery that year. By the next year, people all over the country were honoring dead soldiers at that date. More than 100 years later, in 1971, the date was changed to the last Monday in May. When Memorial Day first began, the Confederate Memorial Day. When Memorial Day first began, the Southern states didn't take part. They felt that the holiday honored only Union soldiers who fought in the Civil War. During the war, the Southerners, called Confederates, believed that white men had the right to their own slaves. In 1918, after World War I, the holiday changed from remembering the Civil War deaths to honoring all Americans who fought in any war. This is when the Southern states decided to take part in the holiday. The American flag. The main symbol for Memorial Day is the American flag. In May 1776, George Washington and two other men asked Betsy Ross to sew a flag for the 13 colonies. That would become the first American states. There were to be 13 stars to stand for the colonies. The stars were in a circle to show that this new country would be without end. The flags also had 13 stripes. The white stripes stood for liberty. Memorial Day symbols and traditions. Another symbol of Memorial Day is the red paper poppy flower. Red poppies were chosen because they were found growing in the battlefield graveyards in France during World War I. A song that you are likely to hear on Memorial Day is Taps, which is played on a single bugle. It has been played at all military funerals since 1891. Parades are another popular Memorial Day tradition. Many war veterans march proudly in their military uniforms. Arlington National Cemetery. The Arlington National Cemetery has been an official military cemetery since June 15, 1864. Many people who died serving America in a war are buried there. In all, more than 260,000 people are buried at Arlington each year. About 5,000 people attend the Memorial Day service, the nation's official way of honoring American service members. Just before the Memorial Day events, American flags are placed by every gravestone. This tradition is called Flags In. The Tomb of the Unknowns. At the Tomb of the Unknowns in Arlington National Cemetery, 3 soldiers are buried. They represent every soldier from World War I, World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War, whose bodies could not be identified. In 1998, government officials performed tests that allowed them to identify the Vietnam soldiers' remains. He then was reburied near his home. The burial spot of the unknown soldier of the Vietnam War remains empty. The National Monument of Remembrance. The National Monument of Remembrance is a time when Americans are asked to take a minute to reflect on the many people who who died fighting for our country. During this minute, which takes place at 3 p.m. on Memorial Day, people can find the song Taps playing on the radio. Others spend this minute in silence. Whatever people do in this moment to think about our freedom and those who died to protect us, which we have about 2 minutes, people. People all over the world have days to remember those who died in battle. Australia honors and veterans on a day called Anzac Day on April 25th. The day marks the time when Australian and New Zealand soldiers first fought in World War I in 1915. Ceremonies are held each year at the Australian War Memorial Day. During the gathering, the audience observes 2 minutes of silence for those who died in battle. And celebrating Memorial Day today. There are many ways to celebrate Memorial Day. If your family has an American flag, hang it outside. Visit your local cemetery and place flowers on soldiers' graves. Participate in the national moment of remembrance. However you choose to spend your Memorial Day, don't forget to be thankful. We can enjoy the freedom of our country has to offer because of the many men and women who died fighting for our country and for us. So, for today's activity, I was just going to show you a couple things that if you're cooking out and you needed a snack, that you could make today. Thanks, Cole. And it's 3 o'clock, so we'll be quiet for a minute while I'm doing this. Okay, first up, we are going to do some fruit kebabs or little fruit skewers. So, you can just do some red, white, and blue, where you would slice a banana, coming apart for me. You could always even make a flag out of these if you wanted to make a bunch of them on a tray. You could do put a bunch on. So you do your strawberries first. Then some bananas. then do some blueberries. Like I said, you could lay these all out on a tray and get real creative and make it look like a flag. Our next one up, thanks to my brother-in-law, Scott Muller. Scott, thanks for the cool whip. You can either make your own Jell-O or just buy some snack packs. You can have the kids do these. You can just layer them in the bottom of the cup. Some red. Some white. And some blue. And then you can even put some fruit on top too. And then you have a nice little parfait. I'm actually going to eat this one because this one looks really good. So, and there you go. And those are just some ideas for you to do for today. These would actually even work for 4th of July as well. So, that is what we have for today. This is actually going to be my last story time until I have a June 16th one for summer for the special, and then nothing else until summer reading, which starts up on Monday, June 29th. So you can message us on Facebook or call the library for information. I miss you guys, and I hope to see you again real soon. Stay safe. Remember to like and share our page. Thanks. Have a great day.